Are you into technology, website hosting, cloud computing, or know someone who is? Develop, deploy, and scale modern applications and websites faster and easier with Linode, the largest independent open cloud provider in the world. Get started on Linode today with $100 in free credit for listeners of the Might Be News Network. You can find all the details at linode.com/mbn. Based in Philadelphia's Old City, Linode's mission is to accelerate innovation by making cloud computing simple, affordable, and accessible to all. Learn more by visiting linode.com/mbn. Click on the Create Free Account button to get started.
The following is a Just Green production brought to you by the Might Be News Network.
What's up, everybody? It's the week of March 8th, 2021. My name is Taylor Cooper. This is Might Be Sports. With me, as always, Kevin Reevy. What's going on, Reevy?
What's happening, my man?
Chilling, man. It's like the worst week in covering sports. There's like nothing going on.
Pretty bad.
Nothing going on, dude. It's like, so we've got... we're always sponsored by Eunomia CBD. Go to Eunomia CBD. Use promo code MBN. Get 20% off, free shipping, and a free gift. Also sponsored by Linode. Go to linode.com/MBN. Linode is the largest independent open cloud provider in the world, people, and they're sponsoring us. How crazy is that? It's unbelievable. Make sure you go check out linode.com/MBN. for a $100 free credit. Go to MBN or linode.com/MBN for more details. So, Reevy, this is the worst week in covering sports because there's really not much going on. We're getting into spring training. Nobody really cares about spring training unless you're there or unless you're paid to watch it, like a scout or something. NBA is on break until what, tomorrow or Thursday or whatever. NFL free agency is right around the corner, but no moves are really being, made. It's just boring right now. It's boring in sports right now, unless you watch hockey, which neither of us do.
Yeah, there's no sense in, going down that road unless there's, another pandemic and it's all there is hockey. A pandemic where it's the only safe place to be is on sheets of ice. Then maybe that would make sense to watch and be at hockey games. But otherwise, not the greatest form of entertainment there is.
And the Flyers haven't been doing bad. I know that they haven't been doing great super recently, but they're not doing terrible. I know that co-host Kev mentioned to me on news that they changed the format for the playoffs in hockey because of the pandemic. So it sounds kind of like it's a little bit more interesting. Instead of half the league making the playoffs, it's about a quarter of them now.
If that's the case, that's big. I didn't know about that. That might change the way I would watch hockey. My big gripe with hockey was always that too many teams make the playoffs. The regular season is almost meaningless. And if you just get in, you have a chance to win the cup. But if just getting in gives anyone a chance, then what was the regular season really? Right. It was just a season-long tournament to knock out half the teams. For what purpose? It's much to do about nothing. We could do this. If it's just going to be that way, if we're just going to have, half the teams make the damn playoffs, then at the start of the season, have everybody flip a coin. Heads you're in, tails you're out.
Right.
It's just because it's a long season.
Yeah, it is.
And the stakes are so damn low. And I never liked any playoff format for any sport where the regular season is not adequately rewarded. I like the NFL system because there's a lot of rewards in there. Yeah. There's I don't like how they minimize the first round bye. Now it's just one team. I don't like that. But the home field advantage is big. It's just the whole thing about it. I just like that system better. Yeah. I liked the way the MLB system used to be. Maybe not, back in the day when it's just the top National League team against the American League team. They play the World Series. That's a bit extreme.
Right.
But I like a system where it should be hard. And you should be watching these regular season games. There should be a nice mix where you shouldn't feel out of it as a fan halfway through the season.
Right.
But you shouldn't feel that it could go either way the whole damn year.
Yeah.
I mean, really, if your hockey team just makes the playoffs, they have a chance, I think, looking from the outside. I feel like any team that makes the playoffs in hockey has a chance to win the whole damn thing.
So, like, you and I feel the same way about the NBA playoffs as you do about the NHL playoffs. As far as, like, too many teams get in, there's not enough reward, like you said, for the regular season. Except for, I guess if, the same type of rewards as all other playoffs, first goes against last kind of deal. So
the difference there is that those bottom seeded teams don't have a chance.
They don't have a chance. Right. That's what I was getting at. So when we talk about the NHL playoffs, it's like you said, anybody who makes the playoffs has a chance to win it, right? Like, you could sneak in there and you still have just as good of a chance, off paper, as the number one seeded team, does, because you're hot at the right time. And momentum means so much more in hockey than it does in basketball, for example. So, like, when we're looking at the basketball playoffs, it's like, all right, you can pretty much guarantee that the bottom three seeds aren't going to make it anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even really worth questioning. But that also means that it's fucking dumb. That's the way that it is, right? Like, I don't know. The NBA playoffs are tough for me because it's just like, all right, you look around and it's like the West, all right, that's entertaining because you have 8 good teams. The East, it's tough because you have like 3 good teams and everybody else is just like, yeah, I'm here. And now one big thing in the NBA that happened since we last spoke is Brooklyn got better, I guess, if you want to call him. Blake Griffin, he's not Blake Griffin from 5-6 years ago, but he's still Blake Griffin. They are a bona fide Olympic contender, Brooklyn Nets right now. Like, that's frustrating to me. I guess, like, that's the all-star team in the East, as opposed to like the Lakers / the Warriors, whatever, out West. Now it's Brooklyn in the East. It's the team that's clearly the team to beat roster-wise. We'll see if they mesh. We'll see if it goes well. But before the all-star break, Brooklyn was crushing it without KD. And
yeah, they won like 5 of 6, maybe more than that.
Something like that, yeah.
Maybe, goddamn, it might have been close to 10 of 11 or whatever it was. But
I thought it was like 13 out of 15 or something like that. Something really ridiculous.
And I see here on their standings 9-1, but that only shows the last 10. So, they're on a tear. They have, it's just, it is what it is. They have great players, and their defense early on was about as bad as a defensive team can possibly be. But
yeah,
it's like we talked about before, building a team. And, my belief that it takes time. You build these things. You need a certain level of cohesiveness. And there's something with basketball where you could have a dream team, quote unquote, with Stephon Marbury and, those guys from the 2006 team, whatever it was. And they didn't even, I think they may have gotten third place. It's just, you get beat by a bunch of scrubs because they know how to play as a team. You have to take it seriously. So I think there's a little bit of that in play. I think there was a little bit of that in play with Brooklyn, just because with COVID and everything, like, how much prep can you really do as a team? How much time do you have to do those kind of things? So they were kind of learning on the fly, and we have such great players like KD and
Kyrie and
the fat guy who's
Harrison.
The fat guy is Harden. slimming down by the minute.
Yeah.
You have those kind of guys, and it just changes everything. Those that are that good, you can kind of cut through that learning curve. LeBron James and his dream teams over the years have proven that when you have guys that good. So it makes sense that they're eventually going to be the best team in the East, and they're going to, surpass the Sixers. But again, if there is any parity in the NBA, it's certainly in the Eastern Conference, and there's a chance for the Sixers to come out on top as much as any other team. But if the Nets just pull away with this, if they hit their groove, and maybe they already have, it become really tough to stop. It becomes like a Warriors kind of deal where it's just
they just keep rolling.
Yeah, there's just too much power there. So I don't know. I haven't been a believer in the Sixers. I haven't been a believer in the NBA in general. I just think it's such a weak system where all the stars have to join together to win. I don't think it's a good look for the league. If the Nets win it all this year, it's a bad sign.
I'll go so far. I'll go so far.
That kind of thing.
I'll go so far as to say that it's a bad sign if the Nets make the finals, not even just win it. Like if it's Nets Lakers in the finals, the NBA is trash. Like nobody cares. Nobody cares, because if it's like that, then why even have a Milwaukee Bucks? Why even have a New York Knicks? Why even have a Miami Heat, and on and on and on? Like, why just keep doing that? What benefit do these cities have?
Well, Miami makes sense.
Right. Well,
Miami hit rock bottom, but because it's Miami, they were able to come right back.
Right, because people want to go there.
They made the finals last year because they're Miami.
Right.
And the New York Knicks are going to be the same deal. It was just Brooklyn because Brooklyn was trendy.
Right.
It could have been the Knicks just as likely. They just made some bad moves.
Right, that and their ownership is terrible, and nobody likes, So it's the Knicks have been a mess for a long, long time, and Brooklyn seems to be kind of trending upwards. So I mean, it makes sense why it would be the Nets over Philly, or and I'm not even to sound like a bitter Philly fan. It's just simply that it's trash. Like, who would want to watch that over and over again? Like, I mean, obviously we do, but it's just like it's going to get to a point where people are just going to tune out because it's just like, all right,
players are picking their basic, vacation destinations for where they want to play, and that's just the way it's always going to be. Now, you could fight that a little bit. I mean, if I owned a team, I've said this before, and it's wild, but I would want to kind of experiment with the European style. I would want to create a team with guys that have played together for a long time, that are not making much money. I might sign a whole team of European players that have played on the same team.
Yeah. I mean,
a European All-Star League.
Yeah.
And have a coach that actually has power in the locker room over these guys and their contracts, and have kind of a rocky underdog story kind of thing. Could a team like that plays together with no superstars, with a coach that knows how to coach them, could they beat an NBA team?
In a Disney movie, yes. In real life, no. Absolutely not. Maybe they could win one game out of a best-of-7 series. Like, it'd be like the Sixers versus the Lakers, you know what I mean? Back when Iverson versus Kobe. I mean, maybe. But and that's not to say that that idea isn't a good idea, because there is merit there.
It's probably not a good idea.
No. It would be a good idea if other teams went by that, and you weren't the only team doing that, right? Because even if a team is doing that, there's still going to be a LA Lakers with 5 All-Stars on it, right? There's still going to be a Brooklyn Nets team with 5 All-Stars on it. There's going to be some destination that this is going to be able to happen in. And I remember, and I don't know, I haven't followed it as an adult for, a long, long time. But I remember the league used to block trades. They used to block signings. They used to say, this is bad for the league. And I don't know when that changed. I don't know if it's when the new commissioner started. I don't know. But I feel like that hasn't happened in a long, long time. And since then, it's just been all-star teams popping up. Golden State, it was San Antonio for a little while. It was the Clippers a little bit, and then Oklahoma even tried it. They tried. Lakers.
The last block trade, I think, was Chris Paul. Right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that to L.A.?
To L.A.
That's where he was trying to end up.
Yep.
And I think that backfired. I think that might have been a David Stern thing when he was the commissioner. That ended up kind of backfiring on him. And I think that set the precedent going forward that you just can't do that. You can't meddle with the league. But something's going to have to change. I've been saying it for years. Eventually, fans are going to figure it out. And that kind of idea got put on fast forward with COVID because now fans are used to not going to games.
Yeah.
So our fans going, take all the flyover state teams. Are fans going to keep going to games?
I wouldn't.
What's the reason to go to games?
Why would you go to a Memphis Grizzlies game? Why would you go to a Timberwolves game? Why would you go to Oklahoma City Thunder game? Why would you do that? If there's no fucking point to it. Zero. If you're at the bottom of the barrel in the West, there's no reason to go. If you live in Chicago, why would you go to a Bulls game? Like, it doesn't add up. And eventually, I agree. I think that it will catch up with the NBA in their wallets. Like, I don't understand why fans even fucking care anymore. Like, it's one thing for the Sixers, trust the process, and we're going to tank, and we're doing this for a reason, right? But, like, and I don't know, maybe other teams are tanking for a reason. I don't know. But, like, point blank period, you're not getting an all-star team anytime soon anywhere else but L.A., New York, maybe Miami. That's it. And that fucking sucks. Because that doesn't happen in other sports the way it does in basketball, and it's embarrassing for the NBA, in my opinion. But speaking of the NBA,
look at it, just to put a final point on this.
Yeah.
If you look at the way the NBA markets its teams and players right now, they are completely on board with the players ahead of teams fan mentality. They will acknowledge that fans of the NBA are increasingly becoming fans of players instead of teams.
Absolutely.
They'll move their allegiance to wherever the player goes.
Correct.
And they embrace this wholeheartedly because it's like when, when Toys R Us and all those companies went out of business. Toys R Us, it was that department store. What the hell was it? I can't think of it, whatever it was. In Toys R Us's case, like, they were hemorrhaging cash and they kept trying to come up with ideas that would get them, they would fall 3 steps back and they would have an idea that would get all right, we'll move 2 steps forward. Well, you're still falling behind. And they'd fall 3 steps back. They'd spend more money, new ideas, and move 2 steps forward, then fall 3 steps back. Before that, you're falling further and further behind. And then when you take a step back and you look at the whole thing, it's like we could see this coming 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It delayed the inevitable. So that's what I see the NBA doing now, them embracing the fans, embracing players instead of teams. They're just going with the tide. They're getting on board because that's the way the trend is going, but that's going straight to shit. That's a sinking ship. That's what they're going with. That's what they're on board with. If you're on board with fans of the NBA increasingly like just abandoning their teams and just following the players, they're not going to go to games. Like, they're going to go to games when maybe their players come to town. That's it.
Yeah.
That doesn't fill the stadium when, the Lakers aren't in town.
Right.
When the Nets aren't in town.
Well,
when the Clippers aren't in town. That's a big problem because, hey, you got a lot of games that don't involve those teams.
Yeah.
And no interest at all whatsoever. And by the way, the point of sports, all you want to hear from players over the years is that, hey, I just wanted to win. I heard a nice interview with Jason Williams, White Chocolate, the old Kings point guard. He said the biggest misconception fans had about me is that I was a flashy guy, but number one, I wanted to win. Mm-hmm. I wanted to win so goddamn bad. He just wanted to win. Yep. And he said it was a big misconception fans had about him. We love it when players say they just want to win. But the NBA is embracing fans who basically couldn't give a shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird, man, because if you put 20 people in a room at random, I'm willing to bet that you'd find at least 2 to 3 Lakers fans in there, right? Like, just any state, whatever state, you pick it, you know? If you go to fucking Georgia, get 20 people together, you're probably going to find 2 to 3 fucking Lakers fans. If you do this in Des Moines, Iowa, you're going to pull 20 people together, you're probably going to find 1 or 2 Lakers fans. Same thing here in Philadelphia. If you pull 20 people together, you're bound to find 2 to 3 Lakers fans. So, like, it doesn't necessarily matter as far as the NBA is concerned, because it's like that all over. It's like that all over. And like you said, because people are following. There wasn't – you might not have been able to do that 4 years ago with the Lakers because LeBron wasn't there yet, right? The Lakers were trash 4 years ago. So, like, it changes. It does. It goes up and down like everything else. But, like, it just – wherever these guys decide to meet up, they go to a championship and they typically win it, and it's bullshit to me. It's bullshit to me. It sucks. You ready for Go to the Week? Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Might Be Sports presents the greatest of all time.
Of the week. Real quick, before I do my Go to the Week, it's just one thing that I forgot to say about the show. Embiid could be back for the Sixers as early as Friday. Simmons could be back as early as Saturday. We'll see what happens. This huge COVID thing that took them both out of the All-Star game. I was really bummed about it. I know they were too. Shout out to them. I know they're listening. So, all right, my clear-cut Go to the Week this week. Very obvious Go to the Week is Dak Prescott just signed a 4-year, $160 million contract extension with the Dallas Cowboys worth $126 million guaranteed. He is my Go to the Week because now it is officially official that the Dallas Cowboys will be mediocre at best for at least the next 3 years.
Yeah, he got a lot of money.
A lot of money for being okay.
It was like it was a 4-year deal. I think the Cowboys have always gotten creative with their deals. I think the first year might pay like $75 million, something like that.
Yeah.
Just outrageous amount of money. And I think it kind of shocks me because it's wild to me because they were on the fence about signing him before last year, and then he gets a season-ending injury, and they give him basically the money he wanted to begin with, which I guess speaks to the market right now. They don't want to start from scratch. Yeah. And I guess they want to strike while the East is just garbage. Well, so I guess it makes a little bit of sense.
They're definitely not worried about the Eagles.
Dak Prescott's a decent quarterback. He just can't win.
Right.
And everybody, it's the same thing in reverse with Carson Wentz. Dak Prescott went out on a high note, but it's important to remember, before that, he had a very long stretch where his QB rating at the end of the day looked good. He didn't throw for a whole lot of yards.
Right.
At all. Right. He had a stretch where he couldn't top the 200-yard mark for like 10 straight games in 2019. So just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, he's junk.
I might be a hater, but it is what it is.
Trash.
Not a whole lot of sports going on, and we trashed the NBA. I didn't watch the NBA All-Star Weekend, which was jammed into one single day. But from what I looked at, recap wise, the only exciting part of the entire weekend, in my opinion, was the 3-point contest. There was a little bit of entertainment value in there, and then it did come down to the final shot.
Yeah.
Very suspect who was involved. I think it was Jason Tatum, Steph Curry, and I'm blanking on the point guard who was also there, but What else is new? I can't remember names. But anyway, Steph Curry won on the last second shot. I think whatever it was, hitting 36 of 54 total shots. I think it was something like that.
Something ridiculous. Yeah.
Insane. The only ones he really missed were right off the bat. I think he was getting his bearings right. And then he would just go on tears. We'd hit like 10 straight 3-point shots. And at the very end, like when he really finishes it off, you see him hit these shots where he's not even hitting net. Like it's just going straight through.
Yeah.
So that's always cool to see. I love the 3-point contest. I'm just going to pretend the slam dunk contest didn't even happen. I read a little bit about it. I didn't see it. And I think it might have been a little embarrassing.
Yeah,
so the 3-point contest is always cool. And I love when the best players compete for it. One of the best did. So that's good enough. And Steph Curry joins, I think, maybe 6 or 7 other guys in NBA history to win the contest twice. You know,
he's a trip, man. You're watching him and Dame just launch threes the whole game. It was ridiculous. And one highlight from the All-Star game, I will say, was LeBron and Steph playing on the same team. That was pretty cool. I've never done it before. Two of the best players that we've ever seen.
Hey, maybe they'll play together someday.
Yeah. Steph to the Lakers in a couple years. Could be, man.
Might as well.
Who knows? Reeve, thank you so much for being with me, man. I appreciate it, dude, as always.
Been a pleasure.
Everybody go to youknowmeascbd.com. Use promo code MBN. Get 20% off, free shipping, and a free gift. Make sure you check out Linode at linode.com/MBN for $100 free credit. You can only get that from us. Go to mbnnetwork.com. It's never looked better. The website looks incredible. Find your new favorite podcast and binge that shit. Everybody, we'll see you guys next time. Peace out, Reeve.
See ya.